listening to music, I kind of came up with this idea because I was kind of stumped for ideas for makeup because I didn't want to do another beauty makeup. I wanted to do another kind of FX. Like, I guess I wanted to do like a mixture of both. I just wanted some sort of idea. And listening to music usually gives me a lot of inspiration, normally for drawing, but in this case it gave me inspiration for a makeup look and for a video idea. So what I'm planning to do is do a stab wound over my area, and I also want to do full glam. I want to do my whole face, just some basic shadow and liner and stuff like that, or whatever. Alright, so this time I'm going to start out with the eyes. So I've already put Tarte Shape Tape in Fair on my lids to prime them. So I'm going to use the Huda Beauty palette, and I think I'm just probably going to do something simple but kind of dramatic. So I'm going to start out with Sandalwood as a transition color. I'm going to take a clean brush, just blend that out a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to take the same brush that I used for Sandalwood, the transition color, and I'm going to use Cocoa. I used Sandalwood, I'm sorry if you need clarification on which one I used. I used this one, so I'm going to use this one. Just very lightly, because these are very pigmented. Just blend that into Sandalwood. Take that other brush again. Alright, so I'm going to take more Cocoa, the color that we just used, and go underneath. Alright, so I'm also going to be taking Bossy right here. I'm going to be using that as... I'm going to be putting that in the crease to deepen it up. Alright, so I think I'm gonna take some of the rose gold right here and put that in like the inner corner part. Alright, so now that the shadow is done, I'm going to do liner, and I think I'm just going to do use e.l.f. Stick liner. Just this. Just taking a smudger brush just to kind of smudge the liner, and then I'm going to take this brush and just kind of blend it into that shadow that was underneath. So I'm just taking the liner and kind of smudging it up into the shadow, just to kind of give it that, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it'll look better once I put lashes on. So, liner is done. Now it is time for lashes. So first I'm going to be using my Maneater by Tarte. So the lashes I'm using are the ones that I always use, which are Goddess by Tarte. They are my favorite, in case you couldn't tell since I use them in like every single video. Alright, so now that the eyes are done, I'm going to do my face real quick, so I'll be right back. Alright, so now that we're done with the face, I want to move on to the FX part, which is going to be the stab mark on my chest. So, first I'm just going to start out with a big bottle of liquid latex. That is, and some tissues. So I'm just going to pull the tissues apart, but before we even do any of this, you still have to mark down where you want your stab to be. So, I'm just going to take my lip liner. Alright, so now that that part is done, what I'm going to do is take the tissue, I'm just going to make little strips. Alright, so now I have my little thing of latex, so now I'm going to start dipping the tissue strips into the latex. So let's get started with that. So I cut them into little pieces like that big. You can always cut them smaller or bigger or whatever you want to do. So I'm just folding mine in half and dipping that in there. And I always like make sure that there's not a lot on the side, so I kind of scrape it off a little bit. So basically I'm just gonna keep like building up the latex, just a couple more layers. Alright, so now that this is done, all I did was take this little thing and just make the mark to make it look like I was stabbed. So now I'm going to be taking my bruise wheel and I'm going to be coloring this area around the stab wound, so that way afterwards we can put foundation over it, and then we can put a little more bruising around it. So let's just get into that. I'm going to use probably red first. So with latex, you kind of want to dab the color because the latex will make it so you can't blend color out with latex. because it'll start doing that. It'll just ball up into the latex and then disappear. So just be careful when you're doing this part. You know what I forgot to do was set it with powder. Okay, so before you get into this part, set it with powder. I'm just going to use the e.l.f. setting powder. And this step should help with coloring it, because it won't be so sticky. Alright, so let's try that again. Still going to use the red. Yeah, see what it's doing right here. So I'm just peeling off the latex that was ruined by the color. So now I'm going to use the purple to go in closer. Alright, so now that the coloring is somewhat done, I'm going to be using some of my Tarte clay paint liner to paint a black line where the line is, to make it to add dimension, to make it look like it's deep, because you know I got stabbed in the chest. So I'm just gonna be taking this little lip liner or eyeliner brush from e.l.f. The coloring is done. I decided just not to do foundation, and I'm just gonna start plopping the blood on there, so let's just do that. Alright, so now that this is done, I'm going to put on a black bandeau, just so it doesn't like get on my shirt or anything, so I'll be right back.